Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to Desert Storm Battleship USS Missouri comes under Iraqi anti-ship missile attack. And this is the last of the reactions related to Desert Storm from this channel. I mean, there might be other videos out there that you'd want me to check out, but from this channel, this is the last one of this. And pretty much I'm asking, what would you want to see next? Is there more from this channel that I could check out that are similar concepts to this style? Or like whatever it is, let me know in the comments what you'd want to see, because I've really found these types of videos interesting because I'm learning about these things I have no idea about, and also the sort of the styling, the editing. I like how you can sort of see he's explaining it whilst also showing what's happening on the screen. And yeah, it's been a new sort of video style to me, but I've been finding it really interesting and enjoying learning and watching these things pretty much. But yeah, like I said, if there's any videos out there, please let me know. I'd appreciate it. Also, if you want to watch the Desert Storm reactions from the start, links, not links, at the end of this reaction. So if you want to skip to the end and then come to this video after, there will be a playlist. The last 20 seconds, there'll be like a playlist that pops up, and it's all my Desert Storm reactions in order, I'm pretty sure. So if you want to watch it from the start, you can do that. If you've already watched them, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, let's just jump into this. And if you want to see some more of my reactions, links are in the description to my Patreon, where you can find many different reactions to many different topics. But let's jump into this and see what happens here, because the war's already ended, but I don't know if this is actually after it ended, or is this just a sort of unrelated topic to that and it's just during the battle. Maybe he'll explain it.
Today we're sponsored by World of Warships Legends, a free-to-play console.
Bro, he's got ads for each one. Let's go, man. It's fully deserved. I love to see it.
On the 24th of January, a week into the air war of Desert Storm,
So the air war was before the ground war. I was told the air war happened a month before the ground war. So I guess this specific video was 3 weeks before the ground war started.
Iraqi Mirage F-1s take off from Al-Jarrah airfield armed with the proven and feared Exocet anti-ship missile, a weapon that has in the recent past severely damaged and sunk US Navy and Royal Navy warships. They head southeast towards the Persian Gulf. The Iraqi Air Force is going to try to do what it hasn't attempted thus far in this conflict, to sink a coalition warship. In November 1990, 2 months prior to this moment and during Desert Shield, the build-up of forces in Saudi Arabia prior to Desert Storm commencing, the US launches Operation Imminent Thunder, a dress rehearsal massed amphibious assault involving 20 vessels and 18,000 sailors and marines on Ras Al Ghar in Saudi Arabia. The 4th and 5th Marine Expeditionary Brigades then embark on 5 amphibious assault ships and remain in the Persian Gulf. Desert Storm begins on the 17th of January 1991 with the 5-week air campaign against Saddam's military. The coalition's naval forces conduct cruise missile strikes, anti-ship operations against the Iraqi Navy, anti-mine operations, and naval bombardments against Iraqi positions on the Kuwaiti coast. Given the press coverage of Imminent Thunder, and knowing that those amphibious troops are now massed just off the Kuwaiti coast, Iraqi divisions are deployed along the coastline to defend against the amphibious assaults they believe will come. This brings more Iraqi troops into range of naval bombardment, and weakens the Iraqi front line facing the coalition to the south. Of the approximately 100 combat vessels of the coalition naval forces, most are positioned in the Gulf, and Saddam knows that these vessels are doing untold damage to his forces in Kuwait. On the 24th of January, the flight path of the 2 Exocet-armed Iraqi Mirages is causing confusion for coalition air controllers. They're manoeuvring, almost as if it was on purpose, right along the border between the area of responsibility of the US Air Force and the US Navy, and are now heading southeast along the Saudi coast. This has caused confusion, and now no US aircraft are in range to intercept them. At any moment, they will likely turn to port and make their attack against coalition warships in the Gulf.
Damn.
The aircraft are just minutes from a potential launch range.
Did they have 3 aircraft carriers here as well? And then 2 of the... God damn, they really came prepared with on the naval side as well.
British hospital ship RFA Argus has positioned herself on the western side of the fleet in order to receive helicopter casualty evacuations if required. She is likely the Mirage's target. Guarding Argus is Type 22 frigate HMS Brazen, which has just detected the bandits. She has a problem though. Her crew have just discovered a fault in one of her Seawolf anti-aircraft missile launchers.
Oh no.
It's not clear whether she will be able to defend herself and the hospital ship at full efficiency. A young radio operator aboard HMS Brazen, Radio Operator 2nd Class Paul Charlton, is just 20 years old and is on his first ever Navy deployment.
Bro, he's younger than I am now. Yo, they really get people started young into these fierce situations. What? 20? How is a 20-year-old in control of all of this? What the hell?
He has no idea that mirages are moving in against his ship, and at this moment he receives a high-priority radio message. Protocol demands that he hand-delivers this message to the ship's operations room. 20-year-old radio operator 2nd Class Paul Charlton would, later in life, create a YouTube channel called The Mighty Jingles.
Oh, wow.
Upon arriving at the ops room, he recalls the following.
An immediate priority signal, an immediate precedence signal, had come in that had to be rushed to the PWO, the Principal Warfare Officer, who was on duty in the ops room because we were at action stations. I didn't know why we were at action stations. I didn't know we were under direct attack. Walked into the ops room, immediately knew something was going on. Got rugby tackled by the ORS, the ops room supervisor, who was a chief radar operator, and told in no uncertain terms to not bother anybody for at least the next 5 minutes. So I just had to stand there and wait, and had a grandstand view of the ops room coming together in order to fight this threat. So yeah, they were close. They were really close. The thing is, the procedure because they were going for the Argus, the hospital ship, we were just in the way. Our response would have been to put ourselves in the way. Intercept the missiles with Seawolf if we could, and if not, launch decoys and hope they went for the decoys, because if they didn't go for the decoys, we were going to have to take the hit. I tried to give this signal to the PWO and was immediately shoulder-charged by the ops room manager and told to leave them alone, don't interrupt, we're busy. And that was the precise moment when a pair of, I believe it was Saudi Arabian Air Force F-15 Eagles, intercepted these two.
No way, just like that. Mate, the timing couldn't have been more perfect.
Bandits, when they were about 2 or 3 minutes outside of Exocet launch range.
Wow.
So I was standing there in the ops room just watching all of this happen, and suddenly realising, wow, this war suddenly got very exciting.
Anticipating that the Iraqis might also launch land-based anti-ship attacks against the coalition warships, the air campaign extends to include strikes against mobile launchers and storage facilities for Iraq's 50 to 70 Chinese-built HY-2 Seersucker land-based anti-ship missiles, a variant of the earlier Silkworm missile. Saddam has set up a storage facility inside a girls' school in Kuwait, correctly assuming that the coalition won't launch airstrikes against it.
What the hell?
These images show the Seersucker missiles on trolleys in the school corridors. By the 20th...
How ill do you have to be? You literally have to use a school for girls to try and stop anything happening at the building. Like, that's so cowardly. I mean, from his perspective, he doesn't care and it worked out. But I don't care. You're a coward, man.
In February, coalition intelligence believes that all launchers have been destroyed, along with most of the missiles in theatre. Unfortunately, this isn't the case. At 4:52 AM on the 25th of February, an A-6 intruder is flying on a bombing sortie over Kuwait and Iraq. The crew spots 2 plumes of smoke as 2 land-based anti-ship missiles are launched out into the Persian Gulf. The first crashes into the sea immediately, but the second levels out and makes its way towards its target, a battleship that first served in World War II, the USS Missouri.
Wow.
The missile travels at just under the speed of sound, but at a relatively high sea skimming altitude of between 400 and 700 feet. The A-6 that spotted the launch transmits a warning to US Naval Forces Central Command, but this hasn't been forwarded to the group in time. The Missouri is escorted by US Navy frigate USS Jarrett and minesweeper USS Avenger, and British Royal Navy destroyer HMS Gloucester, frigate HMS London, and minesweeper HMS Cattistock. Gloucester is the first to detect an incoming contact by radar, at 21 nautical miles range, inside a designated air lane for coalition aircraft returning home after hitting targets in Iraq and Kuwait. She executes a snap turn to starboard to unveil her Sea Dart anti-air missiles near her bow. Her crew are under pressure to defend the surface group, but also to prevent a potential friendly fire incident. 43 seconds after the contact was first spotted, the crew of Gloucester correctly classify the contact as an incoming anti-ship missile, and 2 Sea Darts are launched. As the Sea Darts are on their way, the seersucker is visually spotted by lookouts on Missouri.
What?
She dispenses chaff countermeasures into the sky around her, attempting to confuse the enemy missile's radar, and switches her Phalanx close-in weapon systems to auto-engage. Just 4 nautical miles away, Gloucester's Sea Darts arrive and destroy the missile mid-flight.
What the hell?
Missouri's Phalanx never opens fire, possibly because its radars were being confused by her own chaff, or because the seersucker
What a shot! Fair enough, god damn.
hadn't achieved a good lock, and appeared to be missing astern of her. The entire defensive engagement, from detection to classification and successful interception, has taken 89 seconds. The A-6, which had spotted the missile launch, attacks the launcher with cluster bombs. The following morning of the 25th of February, further air operations are conducted to find and destroy seersucker launchers. HMS Gloucester is replaced by Falklands War veteran Type 42 destroyer HMS Exeter, and in the afternoon, the surface group is in the same position with Missouri conducting coastal bombardments. Exeter receives a radio report from minesweeper HMS Atherstone that she's visually spotted a plume of smoke near the coast to their west. Her crew don't know for sure what it was, but the plume would be consistent with another seersucker launch against the surface group. Exeter alerts the other ships in the group that another potential missile could be inbound. The observed smoke was actually from the detonation of a Kuwaiti oil well near the coast by Iraqi forces, but the surface group don't know this and must treat the threat of an incoming missile very seriously. This time, frigate USS Jarrett is quite close to Missouri, at just 2 to 3 nautical miles. Both switch their Phalanx systems into auto-engage mode. Missouri begins to launch chaff pods into the air around her, again to confuse the supposed incoming weapons radar seeker. However, as the chaff pods explode above her, dispensing thousands of metal strips into the air, USS Jarrett's Phalanx system automatically classifies the chaff as a target. The gun slews to starboard and fires a 220 round burst of 20mm fire into the chaff cloud just above the Missouri.
What?
4 of these rounds hit the Missouri herself, 2 of which penetrate lightly armoured areas of the ship, but luckily no casualties are suffered.
What the hell?
A second chaff cloud explodes above her, and again Jarrett's Phalanx opens fire on it, but this time is manually shut off by an alert sailor. The events shown here are the only attempts by the Iraqi military to directly attack coalition warships in the Gulf. The more continuous threat was posed by Iraqi naval mines, an obstacle that would have made an amphibious assault on the Kuwaiti coast perilous. No such assault was attempted in the end, but General Norman Schwarzkopf would later say he had every intention of conducting amphibious operations if they became necessary, and that he was glad that Saddam feared such a possibility enough to concentrate his forces inside Kuwait, allowing for the ease of the ground forces left hook north and east to cut them off when the ground campaign commences.
Oh damn, this ended quick. This video went so quickly. What the hell? I was not expecting it to end like that. God damn. Well, here we go. This is the final video related to Desert Storm, and it's crazy how one of the biggest threats was near the end with their own ship shooting itself automatically. Like, god damn. But I was a Marine stationed at the when all this happened. Originally, when the 1MC announced starboard side brace for shock, they thought there were 9 miles inbound. 6 turned out to be friendly aircraft without the ID on. We also manned the 5 mounted just off the surrender deck. If you look at the pictures, you will see our Eagle globe and anchor painted between the gun barrels when all happened. It happened fast, and I can remember the Gloucester shooting the missile out of the sky. So we were literally there, and we were like, "Oh, God save the Queen." We owe those boys a beer. Plus, when we were strafed by the CIWS, some people thought that the shrapnel would be a cool souvenir until they were informed it was radioactive. Depleted uranium is pretty damn hard, and there is a dent in the turret, 1 or 2. I can't remember now, but where they were hit, the superstructure. Okay, that's not the right way. I was confused. Where they were hit, the superstructure and the steel wasn't nearly as thick. They went through like butter. Sorry, I typed like crap. It's all good, man. You fought through that stuff. You deserve to type however you want. But yeah, this was probably the closest calls, and some of the situations were definitely the most intense. But even here, there wasn't a situation where it ended up with the US ships being destroyed or whatever. Like, they still managed to survive it, which is pretty crazy. And it was a close call as well, very close call, and then also nearly attacked by their own ship. I don't know how it leads to it, but I guess it's like a automatic thing that the ships do. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction, and if you want reactions to more stuff like this, like I said, let me know in the comments. And yeah, until next time, like, subscribe, peace.